Hey, what's up everybody, so today this video we do the video reaction to JTVideos MCU PS4 part 1, yeah. So JTVideos was my favorite YouTuber ever, so so today this video will reaction his PS4 part 1, so yes. So it's the beginning of the saga called Name Galaxy and the Mutant Saga. So JTVideos was the best YouTuber ever in my life, so yeah. And I want to shout out to him purely, I'm going to purely him tonight on the detection, yeah. So, but before the video, make sure thumbs up for this video and don't forget to subscribe. Everyone getting 400k subscribers, get quite high up, purely clicking on subscribers, so yeah. So right now we're going to reaction to his Rebooted MCU PS4 part 1 score. It's called it's called Hawkeye. God, I can't remember about it. I'll take my phone, so Hawkeye getting check this wiki. Hawkeye in the world is yeah, got it, yeah. So that's gonna be a video reaction on today, you guys. So here we go. Maybe make a good thumbs up for this video. So yeah, 1, 2, 3 reaction.
Hello everyone and welcome to Rebooted MCU Phase 4. Today we are here with the first project of Phase 4, and I know that all of you guys have been really excited for the series to resume, and especially to start this new phase in this new saga, because this is all a completely new story. It's something that I wrote, so I'm really excited to share this with you guys, and I'm really excited to hear your reactions to the story. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the first project of Rebooted MCU Phase 4. First project of Rebooted MCU Phase 4 is Hawkeye, the world's greatest archer. The movie opens up with two young boys sitting outside of a butcher shop. A woman walks outside and says, "Clint, Barney, come on, it's time to go." "Yes, Mom," the boys respond, as the boys are revealed to be a young Clint Barton, played by Diesel LaTorca, and his older brother Barney Barton, played by Archie Yates. They walk inside where we see their father, Harold Barton, played by Sean Hayes, yelling at their mother, Edith Barton, played by Caroline Palmer, about forgetting tickets to what he calls a stupid circus. Harold continues to complain. "I don't even know why we need to take these two runts to this stupid thing anyways. I'm here busting my butt working for this family every day, and you don't see me getting anything." "Harold, please, don't raise your voice in front of the kids. How about we just quickly run home, grab the tickets, come back, and pick them up? How about that, kids? Does that sound good?" As the kids nod, we watch as Harold and Edith climb into an old car. As they sit down, Edith looks at Harold and asks, "Harold, have you been drinking?"
Yeah, but we didn't see Hawkeye backstory from actual MCU. I'm sure he was mentioned his actual his TV show. I can't remember last time seeing Hawkeye was the one. I can't remember. Maybe he mentioned the films. I'm not sure. I might have seen. We didn't see Hawkeye actual MCU. But what I was saying, they were his TV show. So hopefully we can see him to next year, I think, the Avengers Doomsday. Not sure, but hopefully get Armor Wars. So if he is in the film, he's going to fear from the West Coast Avengers. So yeah, it'll be good.
Harold grunts as we watch them drive off. A few minutes later, Harold crashes the car, killing both he and Edith, as the screen cuts to black. We cut to present day as we see a gala happening somewhere in California. We watch as a beat-up truck pulls up, and inside we see Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, and his wife Barbara Barton, played by Linda Cardellini, who looks at Clint and says, "Wow, first time going out after everything happened." 5 months, laughs Clint. "I'll just say it's been because the traffic in California is awful. But hey, I'm glad we get to go out. I'm really just doing this for Fury. I owe him one." As we watch Clint and Barbara get out of the car, we see that the outside of the building reads SWORD, which stands for Sentient Worlds Observation and Response Department. We watch as Clint and Barbara walk up to the front and tell the greeter that they are here on behalf of S.H.I.E.L.D. The greeter asks Clint if he's sure he isn't just representing the Avengers at this event, and Clint laughs, saying, "I'm not even sure the Avengers are a thing right now. But again, I'm really doing this for Director Fury. He's done a lot for me, and he couldn't make it here tonight, so I'm happy to step in." We see Clint and Barbara walk to the auditorium where we see a ton of people dressed in fancy clothing. As Clint looks around, we watch as a girl bumps into him. She turns around and says, "Oh no, I'm so sorry." "Wait, oh my gosh, you're Hawkeye. I'm Kate. I'm like your biggest fan." The girl is revealed to be Kate Bishop, played by Haley Steinfeld. Clint nods and says, "Thanks for the high praise." And then he quickly walks away. Barbara looks at Kate and tells her that it was nice meeting her. Kate looks upset as she watches the two walk away. Clint and Barbara find their seats, and as they sit down, one of the S.H.I.E.L.D.'s agents sitting at the table leans over to Barbara, and the two catch up. The ceremony starts. A voice over the intercom announces, "We are pleased to welcome to the stage Miss Abigail Brand, the director of SWORD." As the announcer says this, everyone stands as we watch Abigail Brand, played by Emilia Clarke, take the stage and thank everyone for attending. Brand explains that SWORD has been thriving since President O'Brien and Vice President Ross created the department following the snap 2 years ago. But thanks to their new partnership, their mission to protect the world from threats from outer space will get a whole lot easier. "Now," says Brand, "it is my distinct honor to introduce the lady who is going to ensure that Earth is protected for years to come, Miss Eleanor Bishop, the CEO and founder of Bishop Security, the individual responsible for the new technological advances in downtown New York security." We watch as Eleanor Bishop, played by Vera Farmiga, walks up on stage and explains how their new high-tech security systems increase safety around New York City, thanks to buy-in from Mayor Wilson Fisk. After the presentation, we watch as Barbara leans over to Clint and says, "Wow, that's some pretty impressive stuff." "Yeah, technology isn't really my thing. I'm more of a fan of the old-fashioned." As the two stand up to go home, we watch as Brand walks over to them and says, "Mr. and Mrs. Barton, Nick Fury would like me to have a word with you. Please, follow me to my office." As the two look at each other, Barton shrugs as they follow her out of the auditorium. We watch as Kate Bishop pushes her way through the crowd trying to find Hawkeye, but she pouts as she watches him walk away. We watch as Clint and Barbara follow Brandon to her office. She motions for both of them to have a seat, and as we watch her take a seat behind her desk, her face turns from emotionless to happy. "Clint! Barbara! Congratulations on your new jobs!" Clint and Barbara look at each other confused. Excuse me?" asks Clint. Brand explains that Fury has assigned both Clint and Barbara to oversee the security operations of SWORD for the time being, since the government decided to move its Central Data Information Unit to the California branch of SWORD. Brand explains that the Central Data Information Unit houses secret government information that could be valuable to those seeking to attack the United States, both foreign and domestic. Clint opens his mouth to speak, but Barbara interrupts him, saying, "You got it, Director Brand. We are happy to help." Clint looks at Barbara confused as she looks at him and says, "What? It gets us out of the house, and it'll allow me to suit up for the first time in years." "I guess I'm in as well." Brand smiles. "Excellent. You both start tomorrow night. Don't need much more info than that. Just show up around 8. As Clint and Barbara get up to leave, Brand says, "Oh, and Clint, Fury wanted me to give you this." Brand hands over an envelope to Barton. Barton nods, and he and Barbara walk away. We cut to Clint and Barbara back at the Barton Ranch. Barbara is in the bathroom, and we see Clint sitting up on the side of his bed looking at the envelope, and decides to open it. Inside, he finds a small piece of paper along with what appears to be a folded over poster. Clint opens up the small piece of paper, which has a single sentence on it, which reads, "The circus is coming to town." We watch as Clint's heart drops as he quickly opens up the poster, which reads, "Tybalt's Traveling Circus, coming to San Francisco." Clint begins to have a panic attack as he drops both the poster and the envelope. Barbara walks out of the bathroom in pajamas and says, "Clint, are you okay?" "I'm fine, babe. Just a bit tired. That's all." Clint and Barbara kiss as we watch Clint lie awake all night. We cut forward to around 3 a.m. the next morning and we see Clint dressed up, gathering clothes and placing them in a duffel bag. His rummaging wakes up Barbara, who sits up and says, "Clint, honey, what are you doing?" "Babe, I'm sorry. I'm taking a quick day trip to visit Fury in the Big Apple. Have some business to take care of." "Oh, okay, Clint. Are you sure you're okay?" "Yeah, I'll be back tonight. My flight leaves in 2 hours. We'll be guarding Sword tonight, so look forward to it." We watch as Clint kisses Barbara on the forehead, tells her that he loves her, and heads out. We cut to New York later that day as we see a clearly jet-lagged Clint Barton enter into an apartment building. We cut to the inside of a fancy room where we see Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, sitting enjoying a cup of coffee. Suddenly we hear a knock at the door. As Fury goes to answer it, we see Clint Barton standing outside, who looks at Fury and tells him that they need to talk. We are then given an explanation as to what happened following the death of Clint's parents. He and his brother Barney were found by Tybalt, the ringmaster of Tybalt's Traveling Circus, who agreed to watch after the children and allow them to join the circus. When the two boys joined the circus, both Clint and Barney were trained by a master swordsman, taught them everything they needed to know related to martial arts, fighting, and most importantly, archery. Clint was naturally gifted, while his brother Barney was always seemingly falling behind him. As the two grew older, Clint discovered that the circus was actually a group of highly skilled criminals who ran a criminals-for-hire operation and would commit crimes in order to get paid. Clint threatened Tybalt that he would make the circus's crimes public. Both Tybalt and Swordsman said that they would kill both he and his brother if Clint spoke up. Barney told Clint that he would never forgive him if he told anyone, so Clint decided to run away. Clint continued stealing, but only stole enough so he could survive. He was eventually captured by S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury. Fury agreed to train Clint and would seek to erase all of his prior criminal records if he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. and came forward with information about the circus. Clint eventually told S.H.I.E.L.D. about the circus and became a permanent S.H.I.E.L.D. agent ever since. "I thought that this was all taken care of," asks Clint. "Well," responds Fury, "Tybalt was able to get off on a technicality. You were too busy saving the world and being on house arrest for me to let you know what happened." Clint stands up, frustrated. "I trusted you, Fury. I trusted you since I was a teenager, and now you have betrayed me. The people who made me who I am are back out there. And only that, they're nearby." Fury stands up. "Clint, your entire life has been changed since you left that group. You've become a good person. You've been running from this for too long. This is your final piece of training from S.H.I.E.L.D. You need to face them.
That's beautiful.
And guard Sword while you're at it. I don't think it's coincidental they are in San Francisco around the same time the U.S. government moved their central data unit there." Clint stands and says to himself, "Change for the better, huh?" As we get a flashback to Clint killing his Ronin during Avengers Endgame. Fury walks into his room and brings out a case for Clint. "Oh, this whole situation reminds me. I have this for you."
Sorry guys, but my course photo show. I can move. There. I'm sure, but yeah, back.
Old time's sake. Clint takes the case, thanks Fury, and heads out of the apartment. As Clint walks out, we see that it is nighttime. Clint checks his phone, and we see that his flight takes off in around 2 hours. As Clint looks down, suddenly...
Right? Sorry guys, you don't know what my, don't know, I just have a short time you can see my face, so, yeah.
And we see that his flight takes off in around 2 hours. As Clint looks down, suddenly he is hit in the back by an electric shock. We watch as he passes out and is dragged into an alley. A few minutes later, we watch Clint wake up as he comes face to face with Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, who says, "Clint Barton, I have been called to arrest you for the death of Black Widow soldiers last month under the power vested to me by the Department of Homeland Security."
What if you earned airline miles on your everyday spending?
"What?" asks Clint, as we then watch Clint and Yelena fight each other in hand-to-hand combat. See that Yelena is easily able to overpower Clint, as Clint is rusty from his time off. As Yelena raises her hand to shoot her Widow Bite at Clint, an arrow zip past, breaking the Widow Bite gauntlet and hits the wall next to Clint. Yelena looks up and we see Kate Bishop wearing street clothes holding a bow and arrow. As Yelena is distracted, Clint is...
Right guys, if you have seen my Instagram down of MCU 97, I'm going to put my Instagram link on the, so yeah, on the description, yeah.
"Get up and grab her," he whispers in her ear. "I haven't killed any Black Widow soldiers. I've no idea what you're talking about." "Yeah, right. We know you are Ronan." Barton, shocked by this revelation, releases Yelena, who glares at him. "I'm leaving you for now, but I will get you, Clint Barton, and make sure you pay for what you've done." As we see Yelena run away, Kate Bishop runs from upstairs and greets Clint, who asks how the heck she's in New York. "Well, I live here, and I flew back yesterday after the gala." As Clint and Kate walk away, Kate explains that she saw Hawkeye and Iron Man stop Zhu Wenwu when she was a kid, and that inspired her to learn archery, because her father died during one of the 10 Rings attacks that we saw during Iron Man 3. Clint nods. "That's great, kid, but you need to go home. And I have business to attend to, and things are getting dangerous here. I need to head back to Cali." As we see Clint call for a taxi, he climbs in. Kate stands by and watches as the cab drives away. She waits for a few minutes and then calls a taxi of her own and tells it to follow the taxi in front of them. We watch as Clint boards an airplane at the airport. Kate discreetly sneaks on the same flight and flies back to California on the same flight as Clint. We cut to the Sword Building as we watch Barbara Barton sitting outside when suddenly a truck drives up. Barbara stands up as a mysterious voice says, "Hello there, we're looking for Clint." We cut to Clint, whose plane just landed back in California. He's grabbing his duffel bag from the overhead compartment when his phone rings. We see that's Barbara calling him. He answers, "Hey baby, how are you?" "Clint, you need to come home immediately, like as fast as you can. It's urgent." Clint hangs up the phone, grabs his bag, and pushes people out of the way as he rushes back to his truck to head home. When he arrives at the ranch, he slams open the door and we see a group of people who shout, "Surprise!" Clint looks around and Barbara runs up to him and hugs him, saying, "Bran gave us a night off after your old friend showed up."
Just have for you.
All right. Just getting that.
Just for your reaction. Bye.
"Why, Clint, you certainly have grown up from such a young man." As a taller man walks up, it is revealed to be Maynard Tybalt, played by Jim Carrey. "Tybalt?" asks Clint. "The one and only. You won't believe who else we have here." We see an assortment of people sitting around the kitchen as Tybalt introduces them. Clown, played by Jodie Balfour. Zandow the Strongman, played by Florian Munteau. And Thomas Ramirez, otherwise known as the Fire Eater, played by Toheeb Jimo. Suddenly, we watch as a man comes up behind Clint and says, "My boy, it has been a long time, has it not?" Clint turns around to see Jack Duquesne, otherwise known as the Swordsman, played by Tony Dalton. Clint shudders as Jack looks at him and says, "What's wrong, Clint? I'm always excited to see my pupil. Are you not excited?"
I think I like a short man from Hawkeye TV show anything, but I think I saw like him, but I haven't seen Hawkeye TV show like maybe back in 2012. So yeah.
"See your master?" Tybalt grabs Clint by the shoulder and says, "Come, there's one final person I want you to see." Tybalt walks Clint into the living room where we see a man sitting on the couch facing away from Clint. Clint stops and says, "Barney?" The man stands up, turns around, and is revealed to be Barney Barton, played by Greg Kinnear, who says, "Hey bro, it's been a while." Barney walks over and hugs Clint, who once again begins having a panic attack, and looks to Barbara and says, I need to step outside. Clint steps outside and sits down on a step facing the backyard. Barney walks out and sits next to him and says, "You got a nice life, a beautiful wife, are regarded by a hero by all. It must have been nice to get out when you did." Clint, who has tears in his eyes, looks at Barney and says, "What happened when I left?" Barney explains that he was kicked out of the circus, so he decided to enlist in the army and become one of the most skilled marksmen thanks to his vigorous training with the armed forces. Once he left, Tybalt was looking to add new recruits for the circus and invited him to rejoin the group, where he was given the stage name of Trickshot. Clint looks at Barney with a tear in his eyes and says, "I'm sorry for abandoning you, Barney. I really am." Barney places his hands on Clint's shoulders and says, "I understand, bro. Just glad you got out." We watch as Barbara walks outside and says, "Clint, I think your friends are headed out, so why don't we see them off?" As two brothers stand up, they give each other a hug, and we watch as the group walks out the front door. Tybalt walks past Clint and Barbara and says, "Thank you so much for your generosity in hosting us. Clint, I hope you don't see us again soon for obvious reasons." As he winks, we see Clint glare as he immediately walks away and upstairs. We cut to later that night when we see Clint having a panic attack thinking back to running away from the circus along with what he did as Ronin while sitting at the edge of his bed. We see Barbara walk to the room and sit on the bed next to him and says, "Honey, what's wrong? Don't keep things from me. I'm here for you."
Target sensitive instant relief. Switch on instant relief wherever you are, whenever it's needed.
Experian could improve your credit score. Boost it instantly by up to 101 points for free.
If I tell you, you might not love me anymore. Don't be silly. I love you, Clint. Nothing will ever change that. But please, let me be there for you. Well, since I was a kid, I've always felt that I was unlovable. My dad hated me, thought I was nothing more than a burden. He beat me, my mom, my brother. He tortured me emotionally, physically abused me, and Barney. It didn't stop when they died. Jack, the guy you met tonight, emotionally never told me I was doing anything right. He'd beat me when I messed up, when I didn't perform a trick the right way. I was always wrong. Wrong! He taught me how to steal, how to fight, how to kill. He turned me into a monster. I thought by joining S.H.I.E.L.D. I'd make my repentance for what I did wrong, but I didn't. I'm a monster, Barbara. When you died, I killed. I killed to get revenge for what happened, all the evil people in this world. And the one light in my life, you, it got taken away from me. I'm so broken. And I'm still broken. That time showed me my true colors. No matter how hard I try to be a hero, I'm still just a monster. We watch as Clint breaks down as Barbara consoles him. We see that Barbara begins to cry. Clint, you're no monster. You've had a rough life. Everyone has walked out on you. But trust me, I'm not ever going to walk out on you. Ever. I promise. Because I love you. We see Clint look up, look at Barbara as the two kiss. We'll work through this. I promise. We cut back to New York in a dark room. We see a mysterious lady shrouded in darkness with bodyguards surrounding her. Suddenly, we watch as the door opens and in walks Yelena. She's upset about Kate destroying her widow bite gauntlets. As she sits down, the mysterious woman begins to talk. So, you didn't bring in Barton, even after what he did to those Black Widows, huh? They broke my technology. I'm sorry, Director Val. Oh, please. From now on, you will refer to me as Homeland Security Director Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Elena rolls her eyes. Whatever. The most important thing I gathered is that Barton claims he has not killed any Black Widows, and he did not appear to be dressed or have anything resembling the Ronin armor or the Ronin weapons. Val rolls her eyes. Look, Belova, I don't care what he's doing. I'm going to remind you of what you're doing. 1. Doesn't matter what Ronin did or didn't do. We'll arrest him one way or another. And I'm letting you seek revenge for your sister or whatever. And in return, 2, you either find a way to get me more Black Widow soldiers for my projects or convince Ronin to join me, or, of course, he gets the chair. And 3, that ends up leading to me getting a promotion by President O'Brien. I'm hoping for CIA director. We see Elena looking at an iPad while Val is talking, and she says, oh my gosh, Clint has a brother. Barney? He's a part of the circus of crime? Val laughs. Oh, those freaks. I've used them before. Not super efficient, but hey, might be worth checking out. They have a show in San Francisco as we speak. Barton also lives nearby in that area. Maybe I should go? Val shrugs. Well, we have a private jet for you to use if you want it. But hey, those traveling circus freaks have anyone useful in their lineup, I'll take them for my projects. Elena stands up. I'm off to Cali then, Director Val. We watch Clint and Barbara sleeping in the next morning, and we hear alarms going off in the background. Clint slowly wakes up and realizes what is happening. As he taps Barbara, he says, Barb, we might have something. Barbara quickly sits up and presses her phone where we hear Brand's voice coming through the phone. Clint, Barbara, Sword is being attacked by freaks. Get here immediately. We watch as both Clint and Barbara shoot up out of bed and get ready. We see Clint put on his Hawkeye uniform from Endgame, and we see Barbara pull out a blue suit with a white mask. As she looks at Clint, she says, I guess it's time for the mockingbird to fly once again. As Clint looks at her, he smiles and says, You have no idea how much I love you, babe. We cut to the Sword building as we see an assortment of arrows lying around the facility with dead guards. We see that Tybalt and swordsmen are standing at the outside of the main hall as we watch guards desperately trying to fight them. We see that Tybalt has an assortment of toy-based weaponry while swordsman has been cutting the Sword daytime guards, killing them. Oh, nothing quite beats the satisfaction of getting your way, comments Tybalt. Suddenly, we watch Hawkeye and Mockingbird run into the building. Hawkeye stops and points an arrow at Tybalt. You never learn your lesson, do you, Maynard? We then watch Hawkeye and Mockingbird fight Tybalt and Swordsman, when suddenly an arrow hits Hawkeye's quiver and all of his arrows fall to the ground. As Hawkeye turns around to see what happened, we see a sword similar to Ronin's inches away from Hawkeye's throat, as we see a man wearing a Ronin mask, the same uniform worn by Hawkeye. As the man lowers his mask, the man is revealed to be Barney, who says, You have no idea how long I've waited for this, Clint. You pathetic piece of crap! As we see Clint and Barney engaging in hand-to-hand combat, we see Clint begin to have a panic attack as Barney laughs. I can't believe you can be praised as a hero even when you killed all those people. You ran away from us, from me, because you hated what we did. But yet as soon as you could, you turned right back around and acted the exact same way you did when you were with us. You think you're better than me? You always have. I'm gonna kill you, Clint. When you see Mom and Dad, tell them that their oldest son turned out to be successful. Much more so than his pathetic little brother. We see Barney lift up his sword. Mockingbird screams as she's fighting Tybalt and Swordsman as she watches, when suddenly Barney is shot in the chest. The impact does nothing since he's wearing an armored bulletproof vest, but he looks up and we see Brand holding a gun. I'm giving you 10 seconds to leave. S.H.I.E.L.D. has been notified and they are sending an army of soldiers in as we speak. They'll wipe the 3 of you off the face of the earth faster than you can realize you are being disintegrated.
Going to groom down there, are we? That's brave. Make sure your shower scene doesn't turn into a horror movie. With Gillette Body and with dual lubrication to help prevent nicks and cuts. It's the razor you can really, really trust when it really, really matters.
I want you to have a really fun summer out here. I only have one rule. Stay out of the basement.
We watch Tybalt and Swordsman drop what they are doing and run away for a mockingbird. Barney stands looking at Clint as Tybalt screams at him, "Come on, Barney, leave him!" Barney screams as he runs away, as we see Barbara walk over to comfort and check on Clint. Cut to Barney yelling at Jack and Tybalt as they enter their getaway van. "I could have killed him. I could have taken his stupid wife as well. Why did you stop me?" Tybalt jumps in the driver's seat and screams back, "We didn't come here to mindlessly kill Barney. We need to retreat for now." Barney slams his fist on the seat in the back. "I told you we shouldn't have left the rest of the team at the hideout. I bet the only reason you stopped me from killing him is because you both secretly still like him. You always liked him more than you liked me." "Shut up, you whiny brat!" screams Jack. "We are headed back to the others. Before you screw everything up with our employer and we explain what happened, how about you grow up and quit whining like a little baby?" We watch as a getaway van speeds off as we see Elena Belova sitting in a car a few feet away from Sword as she follows the van closely. We cut to the secret hideout of the Circus of Crime. Elena parks her car a few ways away and uses a device to listen in as we cut inside with Clown, Tomas, Zandow, and Barney sitting down with Tybalt and Jack pacing around. "She should be here any minute," says Tybalt. Suddenly, we see a black limo pull up outside, and we cut to the door of the hideout swinging open, and we watch as Eleanor Bishop walks in. She has a scowl on her face. "Tybalt, I had one job for you, and now S.H.I.E.L.D. is on to us." "Miss Bishop," says Tybalt, "it is my greatest apology that the Circus of Crime failed you, but we will do our best to rectify the situation." "There is no rectifying the situation. You failed." "Well, ma'am, had a certain whiny brat not gotten in the way and escalated the situation more than he should, we would have gotten the data destroyed for you as you asked." As Jack laughs, we watch as Barney stands up and yells, "Hold on, this isn't on me. If you listened to me and you brought the full team, we would have won. If you would have let me kill Clint," Tybalt turns and cuts him off. "Shut up, you little pathetic worm. I'm the ringmaster here, and what I say goes. I should have killed you when you and your pathetic brother lost your vermin of a mother and drunk of a father." Barney laughs as he quickly pulls out a gun and shoots Tybalt multiple times, killing him. He then turns his gun on Jack and continues to shoot him multiple times as he also falls dead. Who's the ringmaster now? Idiots. Eleanor smiles. Now, this is what I like to see. Taking control of the situation. Barney smiles. So what's the issue, ma'am? Me and the rest of my team here were not made aware of the situation you find yourself in. As the other members of the team listen in, Eleanor explains. Well, I was sloppy. Bishop Security works with the mayor of New York to provide security, but in reality, the mayor pays for me to turn off my equipment and crime detection systems to aid his undercover operations. And unfortunately, the document outlining this agreement between he and I has found its way into the data stored in that building. I simply need to destroy that piece of information, and, well, my employer is willing to give you 8 figures if you can successfully destroy it. Barney laughs. So we get paid, and I can kill my brother for fun. You got yourself a deal, lady. As Barney turns to the remaining members of the Circus of Crime, he says, You're all on the sidelines no longer. Tomorrow starts a new era of the Circus of Crime. No mercy and no turning back. Who's with me? As the 3 of the remaining members cheer, Barney continues. We attack tomorrow morning. Same time, but this time, I'm not holding back. I'm coming for you, Clint. And I'll make sure this is the last time you ever see me. As Yelena hears this, she looks down and walks away, returning to her car. We cut back to the Barton Ranch where we see Clint and Barbara sitting together. As Clint has his head in his hands, Barney used the Ronin costume. He knew it was me the whole time. He did it to remind me of what I had done, what I had left. Barbara pats Clint on the shoulder. Babe, nothing can change what happened, but you need to quit beating yourself up over this. You saved the universe. And well, you need to find a way to forgive yourself. Suddenly, we hear a knock at the door, and as Barbara answers, we see Elena standing outside. She says, "We need to talk." Elena explains the situation to Clint and Barbara. Clint says, "Look, Elena, I'm sorry you're getting dragged into this. This is all my fault, and I'm sorry." Elena looks at Clint and says, "Look, Ronin or not, your brother has to be stopped, and from what I know, your past does not define you. I was a killer. Natasha, she was a killer. But we have changed. Natasha saved the world. She saved your life. Allowed you to survive the attack by that alien. If she can change, Clint, if I can, I know you can as well." Barbara gets up and walks into the room. As Yelena stands up and hugs Clint, Clint says, "You know, Yelena, you remind me of Natasha. I actually have something for you." We see Clint open up a drawer on the side table and pull out Black Widow's Widow Bite gauntlets and hands them to Yelena. "These are Nat's. It was a little piece of her I kept from the battlefield, merely to remember what she did. But I know now you deserve them more than me." Yelena begins tearing up as she looks down at the gauntlets and says, "Clint, this is the last thing I truly have of my sister. Thank you." We watch Barbara walk out with the case that Fury had given Clint earlier and says, "Babe, maybe you need to look inside." Clint opens up the case, and inside is the classic Hawkeye suit with a folded up piece of paper. Clint opens it up, and inside it is revealed to be a poster of Tybalt's traveling circus with the caption, "Don't miss Hawkeye, the world's greatest archer." The handwritten note at the bottom, "Can't change the past, but you can embrace it and flip the script. Nick Fury." Clint puts down the note and looks at Barbara and says, "Honey, tomorrow we're flipping the script. We're going to end the circus of crime once and for all." Barbara smiles and nods as Yelena stands up and says, "Clint, I'm here with you all the way as well." As Clint smiles, we watch as he picks up and stares at the classic Hawkeye mask. We cut to the next morning as we watch Barney, Clown, Zandow, and Fire Eater break into Sword as Barney laughs. "This was surprisingly easy, but hey, I guess they saw what was coming." As Barney says this, we hear a voice from behind the group. "This is the end of the line, bro. Time to give up." As the camera pans, we see Hawkeye in his classic costume with Mockingbird and Yelena Belova wearing Natasha's Black Widow gauntlets. Barney screams, "You subdue them, I'm going to destroy the data." As we watch Barney run off, Barbara looks at Clint and says, "Follow him, we'll handle these guys." Clint nods and chases Barney as we see Mockingbird and Yelena fighting against Clown, Zandow, and Fire Eater. We cut to the data storage room where we see Clint and Barney begin fighting. The two fire arrows at each other, with Barney firing arrows that begin to catch fire and Clint firing back with trick arrows of his own. As both of them run out of arrows, they turn to hand-to-hand combat. Barney once again gets the upper hand as Clint falls to the ground with the entire room on fire. Barney raises his sword and says, "I'm going to do to you what I should have done a long time ago. You always thought you were better than me. Well, how about now?" As he screams this, an arrow hits him in the hand, and as he screams, Clint looks up and sees Kate Bishop standing on the other side of the room. She runs and begins trying to fight Barney, but she is no match as he easily knocks her to the ground. "Kate!"
Now, imagine a place for your money, where you're in control.
"Kate!" screams Clint as he grabs his bow and charges at Barney, striking him in the back of the head, knocking him out. "I'm sorry, Clint. I'm a little new at this thing," says Kate. "Kate, we have a lot to talk about, but as of now, the data systems are overheating and we need to get out of here before they blow. Let's go!" Watch as Clint grabs Barney as he and Kate run out of the room. We see Mockingbird and Yelena having defeated the other members of the Circus of Crime. As the building is about to blow, Clint screams, "Get out!" As we watch the four, along with Clint carrying Barney, jump out of the building as the inside explodes. We watch as Barney and the other members of the Circus of Crime are arrested and taken away. We also see Eleanor Bishop being arrested at the scene. As Kate watches, she begins tearing up. We see Clint and Barbara talking to Brand. Clint apologizes for the attack and for the data being destroyed. Brand says, well, we can fix the interior of the building, and the data was able to be backed up on a Washington, D.C. server. But the good news is, for now, you and Barbara are free to return to your normal lives. We'll be in touch soon, especially after the concerning news regarding the mayor shared with us by Miss Belova over there. Clint nods and walks over to Kate and places his hand on her shoulder and says, sorry about your mom, kid. Kate turns around and says, I'm sorry for following you back here. I guess I just really wanted to do something that would make my dad proud. And, well, turns out I lost my other parent in the process. Clint hugs Kate and says, you saved me, Kate. Thank you. Kate blushes. Oh, it's no problem. Now, about your aim and fighting, that could be worked on, but I'd be happy to provide some guidance. We watch as Kate's eyes grow big as she squeals. Really? Clint chuckles. Yeah, sure. Besides, I'm getting old and you have talent. I'll agree to train you if you agree to stay in school or whatever it is you do these days. Kate jumps up and down. Okay, sweet. Luckily, I'm on summer break, so I have a solid 2 months left now where I can train non-stop. Barbara walks over with Yelena and says, our home is open to you, Kate. Besides, I can show you a few things as well. Kate smiles as Yelena looks over to Clint and says, well, Clint Barton, I've been in contact with my boss, and it appears the Ronin files have been destroyed in an unforeseen accident. Needless to say, I think you flipped the script. Clint hugs Yelena as he says, thank you so much, Yelena. You know, I know for a fact Tasha's proud of you. As Yelena smiles, Kate interrupts and says, not to break the mood, but I'm starving. Can we do lunch or something? As the group laughs, Clint looks at them and says, how about pizza? As the movie ends. In the first post-credit scene, we see Elena Belova standing in front of a grave. The grave reads, Natasha Romanoff, daughter, sister, Avenger. We watch as Val walks up to Elena looking at the grave and says, I know you used your one professional courtesy to have Barton's record erased, but I'm still without additional soldiers. What are you going to do to rectify this? Elena looks at Val. Well, you're without me now too. The world needs a Black Widow, and, well, I'm going to go see how I can fill my sister's shoes. In the second post-credit scene, we cut to Nick Fury on a call with Talos, who tells Fury that Carol has still not been able to find much out about the disgruntled Skrulls. We cut to a faraway planet where we see Kalert, played by Ben Kingsley Adair, who says, for far, far too long, we have been deemed weak, unable to protect ourselves against those who seek to do us harm. The Kree, the Black Order, Thanos. And now with these superpowered Earthlings, it's only a matter of time before they attempt to overtake us as well. We will need something to counteract this. I've been working on a project with the top Skrull scientists on something I'm calling the Super Skrull Project. And that is Hawkeye, the world's greatest archer. I know that...
Yeah, so that's the video, you guys. That's Hawkeye, the world is archer. Yeah. The JJ video represents MCU Phase 4 Part 1. So yeah, so tomorrow we're going to do a Part 2. So it's going to be Ant-Man Wasp Reborn. So yeah. So I'm sorry guys for the very long video if you agree with that. So I'll see you tomorrow. So have a very safe tomorrow. So yeah. So I'll see you next time. Bye.